Today, we're diving into an idea that feels, well, it feels both poetic and just deeply fundamentally true. It's a concept that asks us to think of ourselves as architects of our own lives. We're talking about the dimensions of fear.
It all boils down to this one single powerful idea. Your life shrinks to the size of your fears. Just let that sit with you for a second.
You know, it's one of those sayings, isn't it? The kind you hear and you just instinctively nod your head, because on a gut level, it just feels right.
But have you ever gone past that simple nod? I mean, have you ever really stopped and thought about it, not just as a nice quote, but as a literal blueprint for how you're living your life?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to do right now. We're going to treat that phrase like it's a fundamental law of personal physics. So welcome to Section 1, the shrinking principle.
The whole idea here is that your world, all your experiences, your relationships, the opportunities you have, it isn't some fixed, static thing. It's elastic. It can literally stretch and expand, or it can contract and get smaller. Okay, so if our world is elastic, how in the world do we measure it? How do we get a sense of its actual size and shape right now? Well, that brings us to our second section, mapping your life's dimensions.
Think of it like this. There are two extremes. On one side, you've got the expanded life. This is a life that's fueled by curiosity, by saying yes to new things, by being willing to take a risk. And on the other side, the shrunken life. This one's defined by routine, by sticking to the comfort zone, and by basically avoiding anything new or unknown.
But let's get a little more real than just a definition. What does a shrunken life actually feel like, day in and day out? What are the symptoms?
Well, here are some of the classic signs. Those healthy routines you have, they start to become rigid, unbreakable rituals. Your default answer to any new invitation or opportunity just becomes no. That comfy comfort zone, it starts to feel less like a safe place and a lot more like a cage. And maybe the worst part, all your potential, everything you could be or do or create, it just stays locked up, totally unexplored.
And this leads us to a really crucial point. Fear isn't just something that happens in a shrunken life. It's the thing that's causing it. That's what we're digging into in Section 3, the architecture of fear.
So with this framework, fear is not a passive feeling. No way. Our fears are the actual architects. They're the ones drawing the blueprints and building the very walls that define how big or how small our world can be.
Let's make this totally concrete. Take the fear of failure. What is it really? It's the blueprint for a smaller room. It's the voice that convinces you not to apply for that job, not to start that passion project, not to even try. It guarantees your world stays exactly the size it is right now.
Or what about the fear of judgment? Oh yeah, these are the high, thick walls that keep new people and new connections on the outside. This fear stops you from speaking up, from sharing that idea, from being your real self, all because you're worried what someone might think. Every single worry adds another brick to that wall.
And then there's the big one, the fear of the unknown. This is literally the edge of your own personal map. It's that dotted line where you've written, "Here be dragons," and you just refuse to go any further. You leave these vast, amazing territories of your own life completely undiscovered.
Okay, so we've mapped out the problem. We get who the architects are and the materials they use. But listen, this is not a story about being trapped. It's a story about renovation. And that brings us to Section 4, expanding the boundaries.
So let's come back to our main idea. Looking at it with fresh eyes, your life shrinks to the size of your fears.
That's a cause and effect statement, right? And if A causes B, then it has to follow that the inverse is also possible. If fear is what causes the shrinking, then facing that fear has to be what causes the expansion.
So the logic of how to expand is pretty simple. It's like a three-step process. First, identify a boundary. Just name one specific fear that's boxing you in. Second, question the material. Is this wall of fear really as solid as you think it is? Or is it maybe just made of shadows? And third, push gently. You don't have to knock the whole wall down in one go. Just take one small, manageable step right into that discomfort.
And that brings us to our final section, where we take this whole framework and turn it from just an interesting idea into a personal tool. This is Section 5, measuring your world.
Here's probably the most important thing to take away from all this. Nobody else can do this work for you. You're the only one holding the map. You're the only one who truly knows where your walls have been built and what they're made of.
So what's the final measurement? What's the total possible size of your life? The answer is that there isn't one. The space is potentially limitless. The only things creating a boundary are the walls we let our fear build and the ones we decide to maintain.
So, as we wrap this up, I'm just going to leave you with one final crucial question. If you look at the map of your own life, with all its current boundaries and all its edges, what is one wall you could start taking apart, even just by loosening a single brick today?